Hello. This exercise I wanted to develop further from the still life drawing of the bowl of fruit which I have over here, and I wanted to go into a bit more detail about the different pencils. I mentioned them briefly, but I think it's worth going into a little bit more information. So over here you'll see I have an HB, and there's a 2B, 4B and a 6B. Now the 6B, like I say, if I just do a little exercise up here, you'll see how rich that is. If I try and do that with a HB pencil, you can see the difference in the way the graphite is working. The density of the graphite is wonderful. And then looking at this bowl, I think I'm going to show you an exercise where 6B there, 4B and then maybe 2B. So 6B, like I say, you just got to be quite careful with it because it is a very rich colour. So I'm not going to, it would be very easy for me to just block that in, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to sort of take the pressure off a bit, but I also want to keep some structure. I don't want it to become too woolly. So I'm just going to continue a little bit on and then maybe just take some pressure off. Now, I could spend quite a while on that, but I'm now going to go to the 4B, so this lighter tone here, and you'll see now yet again a nice difference. But like I say, 4B is still a very soft lead, so I'm not yet again going to block the entire shape in. I'm going to take the pressure off. And talking about pressures, when I talk about pressures, I'm talking about the weight of line, which I'm going to show you now, because I think it's important. Because if you look at this exercise, I'm using different weights of line and different pencils. So I'll show you with the 2B on the side of this drawing what I mean. If you just draw really, really lightly, and then like pressing down on a pedal, and then really lightly pressing down on a pedal, and these are basically the different pressure points. If I now do that with a 6B, the differentiation, so really thick, really nice, and blending really thick, and so on. And it's good to remember that exercise about different pressure points at certain times. For instance, going back to the drawing, you can see here that I've put in this type of mark making to suggest, if I do say some over here, I'm just catching the surface. I'm not shading in as in just constantly shading, I'm just building up the information, certainly there where the light can't get, and you just build up and so on. Over here I wanted to get the dimples that are in the pear, so I took a sharp pencil, 2B would do, and you just work on top. But like I say, it only works if you've got a really nice sharp pencil. So that's a little bit more information about that. But there is one more exercise which I've done for many years with my students, and it's always throws them into a little bit of shock at first, but it's a really, really interesting exercise. And it's one where you draw with your non-drawing hand, your opposite hand, which means the brain, you're using the other side of the brain, it's sending messages to the hand, it's going to feel clumsy. You know, it's a really interesting exercise because some very exciting things can happen. So if I just move the bow over there and I go to I think I'll just keep it fairly light, I'll go to a 2B. And so that's my normal drawing hand. Now it goes into the opposite hand. I'll just make a little bit more, this lemon's going a little bit rotten. Okay, and here we go. So it's going to feel really odd. So I'm starting with that lemon shape. And immediately you can see that there is a shake with the way that my hand is working. So the messages from the brain are trying their best to control, but it's just an alien thing at the moment. Now the reason why I do this in schools and for the last nearly 30 years of teaching is that it slows the student down. It makes you think a bit more about what is actually happening. Instead of doing a snapshot in your head and then just doing what you think what you see, this is actually an exercise which really is worth practicing. And you will come out with some surprisingly interesting drawings if you just practice this. There is one success story I've got with this, with a student I taught some years ago who really struggled when she was drawing the human form. It was always very stiff, very tight. I made her work with the opposite pencil. Totally changed everything. She did the most exquisite drawings of the human form, nice and light, and keeping that weight of line and changing the weight of line with using the opposite hand. So give it a go and enjoy. Thank you. Bye-bye.